Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rongan's podcast. I'm Dinesh Sagi, joined by Amar and Punk. How are we?
Hi, Dinesh.
Hello.
Good
Hi,
man.
Look
welcome
who
back,
who
Punk.
is here. Who is back here?
We had a
How you
search
have
party
been?
looking
Great.
out for you, Punk, all over the place. They just couldn't locate you
Nice.
anywhere.
By any
Day
chance, were you
one,
in Dubai?
day one, yeah, I would say day one. There's someone
Planning,
mentioned this
so
spot to
that
you in
in
Dubai.
the finals.
Sorry, what was that?
Well,
I
let
missed.
our audience know
I
where
was
were
trying
you.
to get India win the finals, right? And Dubai to host the finals.
Oh, okay, so you praying for it, or were you actually in Dubai to like do something, like some sort of magic or something, or?
We don't need to do anything if Jessa is there, right?
Yeah, it looks like yeah. Mr. Shah will take care of those things. I was about to say, like, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Nothing to fear when Mr. Shah is here.
Yeah,
Yep.
take that. But yeah, good. I know we sort of had a little bit of break for various reasons, but good to have your Punk back. Obviously,
Yeah.
Champions Trophy at its final legs with the first semi-final concluded. Just for our audience, like maybe a quick summary, sort of what happened over the last few days. Obviously, from a Group A standpoint, we already know India and New Zealand sort of qualified. So the follow-up game between New India and New Zealand that we haven't covered was more around making sure who is going to finish at the top, so that they know their semi-final opponents. But obviously, that happened. India managed to beat New Zealand and obviously finish top of the group, and they played their first semi-final in Dubai against Australia that concluded today. And simultaneously in Group B, obviously with the Afghanistan Australia game sort of abandoned due to rain, the sort of opened. We know this, Australia and South Africa sort of qualified given the run rate, but then again there was an open game between England South Africa that sort of determined that group as well, and obviously South Africa beat England by a long margin. That sort of helped South Africa sort of finish Group B at top, and they will be playing New Zealand tomorrow in Lahore. So those are the two semifinals. Obviously, India played their semifinal today, and they beat Australia, the mighty Australia, for a change, and India are into the final.
Yes.
Are we not
Yeah.
excited?
Finally.
India's beat Australia in a knockout after 2011.
Yes,
So that's like
absolutely.
14 years coming.
It has been a while. Yes, it has been a while. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of stats. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of memes going around in socials and stuff in terms of So there's this meme that I've read about it. In terms of how Rahul apparently scored a winning run back in 2023 whatever. Our opponents were so and so, and then we ended up not winning the game. So there's a lot of stories around it, but obviously India being in the driver's seat today sort of put all of this stories to rest, and sort of said we've arrived, we're going to make it to another final. Again, from a Rohit Sharma standpoint, there's another thing that came out straight after they won the game today. So apparently, he's the only skipper who managed to get India into the 50 over World Cup final, the WTC final, the T20 World Cup final, which we won, and then now the Champions Trophy final. So kudos to Rohit Sharma. He's a determined leader who definitely wants to get us in the top two. But to the flip side, personally for me, it's you got us into four finals. Well, three concluded. We only won one. So it's not even 50-50. So hopefully, this will make
Yeah.
at least 50-50 because,
Yeah.
it's good to be in the final, but it's more
It's
painful
also
when you
important to win as well. Yeah.
then obviously not close out. So hopefully, things would sort of look brighter for India and the Indian fans. But yeah, let's open up a quick summary in terms of what happened in the game today for our viewers, and then we'll sort of get into the details. Uh, so the scoreboard, right? So obviously, our friends Australia won the toss and they chose to bat first. They managed to score 264 in 49.3 overs, and they were bowled out. And India, in return, obviously on the chase, they managed to get to 267 in 48.1 overs. From an Australian standpoint, obviously Travis Head contributed with 39, and then the skipper Steve Smith, who was the difference for Australia today, scored a patient 73. Labuschagne contributed with 29, and then Alex Carey 61. Those are the key contributors for Australia. And then from an India standpoint, uh, obviously it goes without saying, when it's a chase and if it's like in a big knockout game, who else would obviously put his hands up? It's King Kohli again. He scored 84 of 98 deliveries. Shreyas Iyer, who's scoring runs for fun, again contributed with 45. Akshar Patel 27. Rahul, who had an opportunity to bat today, obviously contributed 42 not out of 34 deliveries. And then Hardik Pandya with the 28, a quick 528. Let's not forget the skipper as well. He scored 28 of 29 deliveries. So those are the contributors from a batting standpoint. So quickly, toss obviously in a semi-final is critical. Obviously, it's important to win the toss so that you can execute your plan. So from an Australia standpoint, winning the toss and choosing to bat first, is that the right idea for Steve Smith? Punk.
No, I don't think so. Right? Like, well, the last time India won in 2011 in a knockout, India chased it.
Mhm.
If you remember, Raina and Yuvraj, right? So, like, most probably they thought they'll put runs and score, and like the way New Zealand buckled out in the last match, right? They would have seen that because in Dubai, right? So most probably that was in the mind that
Mhm.
if we have like something like 250 or 260 plus score, then it would be difficult, and it was difficult. If you see, India did not take any chances, right? Because of Kohli. Um, he just ran, just quick singles here and there, right? The run, if it was 280 plus,
Mhm.
then it would have been a bit difficult for India because they would have to take more risk, and that could have created more chances for Australia. But like 260 plus was not a big task for India, right? And the way they handled batting lineup till 8, right? It was a wrong decision on the Australian team side, because if you see, there's one reason as well, right? Your bowling lineup is very raw.
Mhm.
You just have maybe what's his name, Zampa,
Adam Zampa is
who has got some
played over
experience,
100
yeah,
games. Yes.
compared to the other bowlers, right?
Mhm.
Then me as being a captain, I would actually get my bowlers to bowl up front,
Mhm.
and then because I have a good batting lineup, right, then I would try to chase the score.
Mhm.
That would have been a better strategy, right?
Sure.
Because if you have inexperienced bowlers, right,
Mhm.
any scores can be chased down, right? And this was not like it was just par score maybe.
Mhm.
If you had like the three bowlers from their side, like Hazelwood, Cummins, and Stark,
Yeah.
then this would have gone to the last over,
Mhm.
or India would have struggled because you would have gone the slow cutters, and it would have been slightly difficult for India, and the reverse swing came in as well. If you see, and Stark and you know Cummins, they're
Mhm.
great exponents of reverse swings. It would have been slightly difficult for India, but yeah. So I don't think so. Why? It's just because maybe it was the New Zealand game. That's the
Mhm.
reason why they chose to, bat first and
Yes.
not take the risk, because they thought like it'd be difficult chasing because New Zealand is coupled down, right? So that's my view.
Abar, do you agree?
Um. Uh, yeah. I mean, I can see why Stephen Smith would have chosen to bat first.
Mhm.
Well, first reason, obviously, Punk has mentioned that looking at the last game when New Zealand, they were bowled out for 205, I think it was. So,
Mhm.
Stephen Smith thought, okay, let's make India do something different. Let them bowl first. So that's one of the reasons. The other, because India were playing the same team. The other reason might be that if they get on a big score on a semi-final, then that would put a scoreboard pressure. And they
Yeah.
were counting on, Head would bat, even Stephen Smith, he would bat long.
Mhm.
And they had hitters like Glenn Maxwell um, down the order. Alex Carey, Josh Inglis had batted
Mhm.
well in the tournament before. So he was kind of hoping that he will get similar kind of performances, which did not happen. If this was a slightly bigger score, say 300 plus 320, then they could have at least put some kind of pressure on. I mean, that's to say, I mean, India would have still kind of made it because the bowling lineup for Australia were not that experienced. But they would have posed more problems. Might be India would have batted slightly differently. Maybe taking more pressure, more risks. Sorry, during the chase. But maybe that's the thought process. But as it turns out, India were all prepared and to take on in any situation, because Rohit Sharma did say that he was unsure what to go with. Should he bowl first? Should he bat first? But, he said he was confused. But obviously he would have chosen one of them. But at least at the toss he said that. So yeah, it didn't turn out to be a right decision.
I mean, on a lighter note, he must have forgot. Like, he probably, knows what to do.
Very likely.
Very likely. That can happen with Rowe. So, but but it's what it is, right? But
it was a good toss for Rohit to lose.
Lose, yeah, absolutely. So, sort of, shifting focus into the batting, right? Obviously, India's nemesis Travis Head. There's a lot of focus on him. He played a couple of decent innings in this Champions Trophy, but nothing like until the Afghanistan game, where he really sort of opened up a little bit and started scoring freely. But unfortunately, the game obviously had to end. But we sort of saw bits and pieces of Travis Head, unlike the 2023 World Cup, where he was opening up, scoring all parts of the ground. So there were obviously sort of concerns around his form in this Champions Trophy. But obviously getting him early, and then obviously from Australia's standpoint, unfortunately for them, Matthew Shaw got injured. He couldn't play today's game, who is opening alongside Travis Head, so they had to bring in the younger Cooper Connolly, who can actually bowl as well. He's only 21 years old. For him to come into a knockout game open against a team of India was potentially already putting someone like Australia on the back foot.
Yeah, they didn't have the very good start. It looks like now that we have seen the game now and how Cooper batted, it looked like maybe what's his name, McGurk.
McGurk, yes. I was actually surprised they haven't introduced McGurk as a replacement.
People thought that he will be there and he would have been a very attacking batsman to start with. And you think about that opening lineup, the Travis Head with him would be a
Fraser McGurk, yes.
Fraser McGurk would be crazy opening pair. But for some reason they went with Cooper Connolly, and he didn't look like he was there. He was present even. I mean, it was he looked totally out of place. He was poking and kind of trying to get the bat to the ball for some reason. Somehow it would work, but he was totally out of place there. Wasn't able to put bat to the ball, and eventually Mohammad Shami got better of him, and he got an inside edge, and Rahul made no mistakes. But Travis Head, as it happens, after that a very early chance to Shami, and of course Shami was he could have had that cotton bowl, but because he was in that follow through, he couldn't hold on to that catch. Otherwise it would have been a different story for Australia altogether. It would have been surely much less a total to chase. So I mean, Travis Head, after that initial drop, we can say a drop of catch, he kind of built on getting runs, scored 39 of 33, played all shots which he likes to play. But then our brilliant captain Rohit Sharma brought in Varun Chakravarti, the magician, and I think it was first ball Travis Head was playing him and he charged him.
Yes.
Charge out of the wicket and tried to hit him, and he skied the ball, and Shubman Gill made no mistakes there. So, but by then he had made 39 runs, which could have been more than that, and then India would have been in trouble. Um, but then Stephen Smith came. He scored 73 of 96. He gave a brilliant stand. He kind of solidified his um, number three. He solidified the innings, and kind of batted the way he bats, rotating the strike, picking up odd boundaries, and making sure the scoreboard is moving. Manas Labuschagne, Josh English couldn't. Manas Labuschagne was batting well as well with Stephen Smith, but
Yeah.
then Josh English, 11 of 12, couldn't capitalize on the previous innings. This century he scored against England,
Yeah.
and then Alex Carey. He was threatening to get Australia a big total, but that brilliant run out from Iyer that stopped him. Glenn Maxwell, if he would have made some runs, then definitely Australia would have got some a fighting total. But he failed this time. I think after hitting Patel for a six, he was bowled out by Patel. So I think and Ben Dorcas and Nathan Ellis, these guys tried to get some runs on the board, but then failed again. So it was kind of a, they tried to fight Indian spin attack, and despite of all the innings building innings, they couldn't get more. They could only get 264, which was never going to be enough with that bowling attack from Australia. So winning the toss, getting to bat first, didn't actually work for Australia there.
Absolutely right. So really quickly, so Cooper Conley, right? I think he was slotted in because he could also bowl spin. But again, if you look at his stats, right, he played 4 ODIs. His highest score is 7. So I'm not even sure. Poor guy, so 4 matches, 3 innings. His highest is actually 7 not out. He only scored 10 runs in 4 innings at an average of 5. So I'm not sure what Steve Smith and the squad were sort of expecting from him, unless they thought Head's going to do a bulk of the lifting at the top of the order, so they can just slot anyone who can actually bowl. Maybe that's why McGurk wasn't prioritized over Cooper Conley. But if that's the case, then why would you even choose to bat first when you don't even have a proper opener alongside? But yeah, that's the story so far. Really quickly, so Steve Smith, right? Obviously, let's not forget about the skipper, right? He came and sort of held one end, scored 73 until that magical delivery from Mohammad Shami. The reason I say that is it's a fuller ball at 140, and Smith somehow missed it completely, and that sort of turned the game on his head. Because at that stage, even when you look at how much Australia were going to score, they were expecting to be the 280 and even 300. But then the moment Smith got out, everything just turned on his head. So Punk, maybe quick word on Steve Smith and his approach, and obviously Alex Carey, who sort of contributed brilliantly as well.
So yeah, he was a bit lucky again. Shami got him out on 36, similar to what happened with Head. So
Yeah.
but apart from that, he had a very controlled shots, in terms of he was taking the singles. He hardly hit, he just hit 5 boundaries, just 1 6, and that also straight against Jadeja. Steve Smith is great, a batsman for ODIs and Test, not for T20s, but for he knows how to play around, take those quick singles, and then and as and when you need to get those runs, he will get those boundaries. One reason why I see Steve going out, he does not generally go hits those shots. It was because this is where the pressure of the Indian batting lineup comes as well. They were targeting 300 plus, but this pitch was more around 280. So if he would have continued playing till the 45th over, as he was playing, he would have got his 100, and you would have got Alex Carey and Maxwell and anybody, uh, you know, uh, hitting around. He could have played the anchor, but it's just because of the Indian batting line. So the psyche behind is that that made that mistake, and Shami being Shami, he just, that was a brilliant ball as well. So, but yeah, kudos, and because of Steve Smith, right? This is where they went to 260. They would have tumbled out around 200, 220. That would have been the maximum they would have scored, because he's a very good player spin in that this thing. Good player spin, and who can also score runs. So just that as well. It's not only about playing spin and blocking around. He can take those singles and build a partnership. So yeah, but yeah, good on India. They got him out.
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, from a bowling standpoint, Mohammad Shami bowled brilliantly. At one point, he was conceding only 3 and over, and towards the end, obviously, he considered 48 runs of his 10 over quota, taking 3 important wickets. Hardik Pandya sort of struggled a little bit at the top of the order, but again, he sort of came back well towards the end, 1 for 40. And Varun Chakravarti, sort of the trump card. We know how well he's done in the previous innings. Sorry, the previous game against New Zealand.
Yeah, we need to give the team management, to play Varun after seeing. Generally, what happens, right? India does not play horses for courses. And in the test matches, we've discussed this over, in our previous podcast. There is they've seen Varun against New Zealand on that pitch, and he got those 5-4. You have to give, any other team would not have. They would have maybe dropped Kuldeep and brought in Varun, but this is where Gambhir comes. He's just breaking the the norm basically here. That you have one genuine fast bowler, and then you have a Hardik, an all-rounder, and kudos to Hardik, and I think so. Hardik is is the joint between the entire team, right? Who's actually getting you this Varun and Kuldeep and the number 8 batsman to play. Having two bowlers, and that's a big risk on India, right? Suppose if Hardik goes, and he did go for a few runs, but it was not where he went for 10 or something. It was 6, 7, 8 runs, which is fine. India were expecting maybe 70 runs in 10 overs or 75 runs in 10 overs. And then the spinners comes in and they will squeeze them out. So you have to give kudos to Gambhir, Rohit, and Hardik to take this role. And Hardik is also doing the last over as well, as a finisher in terms of bowling, not as a finisher, as batting as well, but also as bowling as well. So I see the same team going forward as well for the finals, because we are playing in Dubai, around the same conditions, around the same, maybe a fresh pitch, but a dry pitch. So this is the same team going to go forward. So.
That's a great point you made, right? Obviously, they already had 3 spinners. They're playing well. They've been winning games. And all of a sudden, to bring in the 4th spinner by dropping someone like Harshit Rana, who's also did reasonably well, I think it's a brave call. But again, today's game, one of the things, they played at the same ground, but the pitch was different. This is a fresh pitch today, unlike the one against New Zealand. But then there were rumors around, this was one of the pitches they used to use for Test cricket a lot. So the pitch will always be slow. Sort of worked in India's favor as well, by having those 4 spinners.
So you have that slight thing, advantage as well. India is playing there, and there's some stats which people would know, right? India have never lost a match in Dubai. Out of the 10 matches, 1 was tied, and 9 India has won. We have won the 2018. The tied match was, just to give a view, it was MS Dhoni who was captaining a second-rung Indian team after Rohit and Kohli. They basically, it was a rubber match, right? Dead rubber. For the it was the Asian Cup. So if India wins the finals, then it will be the only team to have won 10 matches in the same, without losing any match, and 1 tied. So it'll be 11 there. As of now, New Zealand in some place, Sundin or somewhere there, they've won 10 matches there and haven't never lost there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good stats for India, though.
One of the things we when we talked about toss, Jadeja mentioned that this pitch was not gripping as much as the New Zealand game pitch. And maybe that was also one of the factors when Stephen Smith, when he won the toss, he was like, okay, this is, we can get a good start here. We can get a good, even though India is playing 4 spinners, we can have a good total on the board. Maybe they are, because early on maybe it won't spin that much. So he thought, okay, this is a good opportunity to get a big score. But the thing, what happened was today, uh, Australia looked under pressure right from the start. Maybe because of the opening pair didn't work, and as Punk mentioned, that looking at that shot from Stephen Smith, they wanted to get a big total, and so Stephen Smith had to come out of the crease, and he tried to
Counter.
charge Mohammad Sami.
Yeah.
But then again, if we look down the order, we see Glenn Maxwell as well. I mean, if he hit a 6 and then again he tried to get more runs, so we kind of see that maybe they were, if say for example Glenn Maxwell had stayed,
Mhm.
he would have got another chance to go for more runs, a big shot. But the pressure were getting into them. And also two things, as we mentioned, like Pang mentioned, but India's batting lineup, below 300 you're not going to win.
Mhm.
And B, Australia's bowling attack, they were not going to save anything below 280.
Mhm.
So these things were in their mind. And also during the fielding also we saw that there were there were what, three catches dropped.
Yep.
So I mean, Conley being dropping the first one,
Mhm.
then I mean, Marnus
Labuschagne.
Labuschagne was
Yeah.
a difficult one, but it didn't
Yeah.
stick. And
Mhm.
again Conley was
Maxi.
involved in another one where I think
Him and
Maxwell,
Maxi. Yeah.
yeah, there was a confusion between, maybe there was a confusion slightly.
Mm.
So they were kind of under pressure. It looked like they were not the usual cutthroat Australian
Australia.
team.
So
Yeah.
I think so. They knew it was like a pass score, like it was not a winning score, right? And that,
Mhm.
and like, and I'm like, you had the three bowlers, like Stark, Hazelwood, and Cummins.
Cummins all sitting
They
out.
would
Yeah.
have given a run, for India. India would
Mhm.
have struggled,
Mhm.
on this, because they have great skills, the reverse swing, Yorkers,
Mhm.
cutters and all that. So, and
Yeah.
they've got like 1,100 wickets between them. So it would have been not an easy task for India to chase. So yeah, but
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
whatever, it's like, you field your team, and you
Mhm.
you play against them, right? So Australia has fielded their team.
Yeah.
They
No,
were
they
under
definitely
par,
lack
and
experience, right?
India
So
scored, like,
obviously.
and this is why I think it was not the right decision by Steve Smith, right?
Mhm.
Because as a he does not have control of uh, you know as a captain, right? If you're a batsman, right, you have more control of, like how Kohli can chase, like, as a chase master, right? Steve Smith is and Head, if you see the games they won, they have chased, right? So you, as a captain, you have the most experienced batsman, and you have, like, Maxwell coming at number 7. uh, there's a good chance for you to chase, even if India would have scored like 300 plus, because they have done that previously, right? Good opening stand, and it would have been a very different ball game. It's just that, like, you had an inexperienced bowlers. It would have been easier for them to, like, let India bat first, and then have the entire game under their control as a captain. That would have been my strategy
Mhm.
if I had a team like what Steve Smith had.
Yeah. No, quickly, right. Excuse me. Sorry. Shifting focus onto India's shares. Still, 264. You have to be scored, like obviously, and it's never going to be easy. If you lose early wickets, but obviously, from an Australia standpoint, they did create some chances. Gill went early for 8. Rohit Sharma was dropped twice. Irrespective, difficult chance, easy chance, and these are the games where you have to sort of hold on to everything, given you're sort of defending a small target. He was dropped on 13, dropped on 14, but obviously, that didn't help the cause. Uh, yeah, so Rohit Sharma been dropped twice, but yeah, the partnership between Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer, I think 84 from Kohli, obviously, and Iyer with 45. That sort of took the game away, I believe, from Australia's gasp.
It did, and every now and then, and lately, more often than not, we see Rohit Sharma giving that start, and
Mhm.
he knows that he sets the tone up front, and whether he makes 10 runs, whether he makes 30, 50, and like today he made 28, he
Mhm.
sets that tone, and he also gives a message to the opponent that whatever you're doing, it's not going to work. We are going to take you for a ride here. So he sets the tone there, and like you said, the few drops, catches were dropped,
Mhm.
but then they had to be taken against this batting lineup. Australia had to play out of their skins, and they had to play a game without any mistakes, which they didn't do today. If they had held on to all the catches, maybe it would have been closer, but they didn't. So Rohit Sharma gave a brilliant start. Shubman Gill, he was kind of, he batted as he bats. He Whenever there was a chance, he took the shots,
Mhm.
got boundaries. But then he believes early on in rotating the stride. He believes in hitting the ball down the ground, and he kind of fell doing that. He didn't play a bad shot. It's just that uh, he didn't come out to the bat. It was a inner edge, and that went onto the stump. So he went out. Not it was kind of a mistake in a correct shot. Really, it was not like a false shot or a wrong shot or anything like that. Then again, Virat Kohli in these kind of chases, important games. Um, Master of the chase, we were kind of expecting him to score,
Mhm.
but then he looks more determined whenever he's playing Pakistan or whenever he's playing Australia. And
Mhm.
this was kind of, we can say that, a very important game for him after that century against Pakistan, um, to come and take India to the finals. We don't know, if they are closer to uh, so retirement, or closer to um, you know retirement from the game altogether, or from ODIs. We are not sure,
Mhm.
but this is kind of a very important tournament for Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. So he was kind of determined that, okay, we are not going to make any mistakes, which he didn't
Mhm.
until the last ball. He was playing shots to the merit. He ran I think above 50 singles, 56 or something,
Yeah.
in his 84. So very well built construct very well constructed innings from him, along with Shreyas Iyer, who has been in brilliant form. And since the time he had to play against England, he has been scoring consistently. And we talked about in our previous podcast as well that if he batted as he batted it against England, then definitely Champions Trophy uh, will be India's. And he's showing that he's a very important middle order batsman here. So which kind of stabilizes the batting order, already strong batting order. And well, to be honest, in fact, the Indian batting order is looking strong because of Shreyas Iyer and
Mhm.
Akshar Patel.
Yeah.
So a very well supported 45 there.
Mhm.
And Akshar Patel, as he does more often than not, he gives very valuable runs to India.
Mhm.
And at times, if you want him to hit, he can hit sixes as well. So you can see a very useful, a handy all-rounder there. Then of
Mhm.
course, when Virat Kohli got out, and it was strange circumstances, because um, KL Rahul was, yeah, taking to the attack. He had hit a six in that over.
Mhm.
And again, Kohli, maybe he read the wrong one, and he saw an opportunity there, and he went for that shot, and he was caught
Mhm.
by Dorses, which was not needed at that point of time. But by then, India had already come to a comfortable
Mhm.
situation there. But yeah, very brilliant, very good innings from KL Rahul, who came in. um, took the attack to Australian bowlers. Very well made 42 out of 34 balls. And I've been skeptical of him lately,
Mhm.
that he does not perform when India needs him to. And in this match, he has shown that no, he can do that.
Yeah.
And very well, because of the way he batted, we did not miss Rishabh Pant in this match.
Mhm.
Otherwise, in normal circumstances, Rishabh Pant would be the guy who would take to the attack.
Mhm.
So yeah, a very well managed 42. Well, one thing is to be said, that when the KL and Virat were batting, because Virat was he had been batting for a long time, and he was rotating the strike. KL Rahul decided that he's gonna, after that break, he's gonna let loose and
Yeah.
up the ante. But when Virat Kohli got out and Hardik Pandya walked in, it was Hardik Pandya who decided to go for the attack, and KL Rahul was like, okay, now I can do what I'm
Yes.
known
Yeah.
to do, just rotate strikes and rotate the strike. So it was clear change in strategy, and very
Mhm.
well executed strategy. And Hardik Pandya, I mean, we have to commend him, and we always know that he is a very high confidence riding guy. So he initially played he played quite a lot of dot balls, and
Mhm.
but he knew that he just needed a couple of balls. The ball needed to fall on the slot, and he will get a six out of it. So he was playing those dot balls, but never faced, never kind of worried about the run rate.
Yeah.
And he hit two consecutive sixes to I think it was Zampa.
Yes.
Yeah, and then and of course there was, after that, it was nothing, nothing to worry about. And so and Ravindra Jadeja came, and he was only needed to make 2 runs. So all in all, um, a, a, a comfortable chase in the end.
Mhm.
Of course, Gill fell early on, uh,
Mhm.
and then um, you know uh, after that we got runs from almost all the batters. So it was kind of a comfortable chase, because there was no um, scoreboard pressure as such,
Yeah.
because Kohli was kind of rotating the strike, and it is a big factor, because he played 98 balls and he
Mhm.
ran 52 singles or 56 singles probably, and he was managing that workload. He never let the run rate go out of hand. So it was a very well managed, and it looked like at no point they were out of the game. They were always winning this game right from the start.
No, absolutely right. So just Kohli's note. So he actually managed to get 64 singles, and then he
Or
scored
64. Oh, yeah.
5 boundaries of just 20 runs. So that's 84. Yeah, Punk, anything you want to add on the batting?
Yeah, just on Kohli is like the way he got out, right? So basically, what he most probably, he was probably trying to go flat straight four over
Mm.
the bowler, and it just missed time and went to long on. It
Yeah.
was an calculated thing. It missed time because of the slowness of the pitch, right?
Yeah.
Or he would have got a century as well on this match.
Mm.
So, and like the way, and that's how it needs to work, right? If Kohli was batting, so this set batsman continues to be the anchor, and continues
Mhm.
to get the game over. Any new batsman come, take few, 3, 4, 5 balls, and then hit. So that's what KL did. And once Kohli went out, then he became the anchor, right, to make sure that, like, and then Pandya did that. And if you see, that's what the team strategy is. Like, if somebody is set in, you don't
Mhm.
ask them to go. They play risk free, and then the new batsmen come and play for few balls here and there. Like Akshar did the same thing. He was the aggressor.
Mhm.
Then KL was aggressor till Kohli was there. Once Kohli went out, then the rule changed. So India has got a strategy. It's not like they're just doing on the will and fantasies of, like, what's happening. They have a strategy in place, and that's what they're following, right? Kudos, like the management has got things working now.
Mhm.
Just they continue doing that. Somebody does not go out of their way and try to do some fancy stuff. Just continue this, follow the process what the team management has set, and you will win this game, the finals, right? So yeah, I think so. It was a very calculated, risk-free run chase.
Absolutely right. So obviously, that puts us into the mega final that's going to take place on Sunday. Before we wrap up,
It
a
will be
couple of
fun. Like,
things.
so, just a quick thing, there's few
Mm.
things to ask you guys, right? So, in ICC knockout, right? Kohli's got like 3 man of the matches. Who's the other guy who's got 3 ICC knockout man of the matches?
From India or any
Yeah.
team?
India.
Oh, India. It's a Sachin.
Amar?
Um, knockout. Is it Ashwin?
No, it's Yuvraj. Just
Oh, Yuvraj Singh. All right.
right.
You
The
know,
other one.
just man of the
Pick one.
matches. I thought he got all the man of the series.
No, so I'm talking about the man of the matches, like ICC knockouts,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
Could have been
and the other
Mohammad Shami as
stats,
well.
right?
Who knows?
In Champions Trophy, Kohli is like now, close to Chris Gayle. Who is the other batsman from India who is second in terms of number of runs scored in Champions Trophy?
Shikhar Dhawan, I suppose. He
Uh,
scores in
Sharma?
runs. Or maybe Rohit.
He was
Rohit Sharma? Rohit
Shikhar
Sharma? Shikhar Dhawan. All right.
Shikhar Dhawan.
Shikhar, yeah.
700 and
Shikhar's
something
like,
runs.
he used to score for
Yeah.
fun when it comes to Champions
He used
Trophy.
to score
somehow.
for fun, right? So
Champions
even
Trophy and Shikhar Dhawan are like match made in heaven somehow.
he had a
All
good,
of it is just
like,
good.
even in
Yeah.
ICC knockouts as well. Like 2019, if you're not injured, it would have been a very different game for India.
Yep,
If you
absolutely.
remember that, right? So, but
Yeah.
and he scored a century when he went out. He got knocked out, right, in the Australia match. But
Mhm.
yeah, just to give a few things, right, out of there for people to know.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying, obviously,
So who do you want India to come to play in the finals?
yeah, that
Aman?
was my question as well. Tomorrow, who do you think is
Yeah, I
going
was
to win?
just like
New
reverse
Zealand, South
anchoring
Africa?
here.
Yes, I'd say New Zealand's going to make it to the final. They're like
Um,
well-equipped team. So
who will
yeah,
make it, or who do I want India to play? What
Both
do you
ways,
think?
you can. So your choice and who will make it. So you can answer 2 questions. You can have 2 different teams as well.
I think New Zealand will make it to the final. Is simply because first of all, their fielding is just exceptional,
yes.
and they're playing on a very high scoring pitch tomorrow. So even though we have seen that South Africa they have got a really good batting lineup, when there is a high scoring game, then or high scoring pitch, then that kind of negates that advantage, because it slightly becomes easier for the other team also to get a big score. And it will again, and that's why I'm saying that the team which feels really well will come on top. I mean, I'm not saying that South Africa have bad fielders, but it's just that the level of fielding which New Zealand have been showing is just beyond imagination. So my money is on New Zealand for tomorrow's game.
So a couple of factors, right? For me,
yeah.
one, they just
Yeah,
won
go
a
ahead.
series in Pakistan, the Triangular Series, so they're pretty much familiar with the conditions. And to the point just Amar just made, right? Fielding, whoever feels better. And so far in the Champions Trophy, I was looking at a stat earlier somewhere on socials, in terms of the team, the number of chances, and how many did they convert. And New Zealand are top of the table. They've had 21 catches or something, if I remember correctly, over 20 for sure, and 92% they managed to catch.
Okay.
They're the best. And India were 6th or 7th alongside Australia. They were like 5 and 6.
75.
Yeah, 75 somewhere, and Pakistan was at the bottom, but they only created 6 chances with respect to. But yeah, New Zealand created so many chances, and they managed to. I mean, Glenn Phillips is everywhere, so he doesn't seem to miss a chance. So yes, so that's what I think. One, I think New Zealand's going to make it, and two, I also want New Zealand to make it because there's for India's standpoint, they just beat them, so there's that pressure on New Zealand to do well again, and also obviously they also have this pressure of never winning an ICC event. I mean, not that South Africa won anything, but they won Champions Trophy back in early 2000s, so at least they have something. But I think New Zealand definitely going to be under the pump, and the pressure is going to be on them.
Yeah, I'm like slightly different from you guys.
You want South Africa?
Yeah, no, like especially in Dubai, they won't play well against spin. But
Sure.
on a road in Pakistan, you
Mhm.
look at like batsmen,
Mhm.
they are bloody. They would rip apart those bowling. If it's a flat track, right? If it's seaming, it's slightly different. But if it's flat track, you look at like Klassen, Van der
Mhm.
Hussen, David Miller, Jansen, and then you have your who's the Markram, Stubbs.
Yes.
They are all T20 caliber.
Yes.
They will score like 300, 350 plus. And New Zealand does not have so Matt Henry, right, on on those
Mhm.
tracks where he grips, which
Mhm.
seems he might be doing well, but he's not a good T20 bowler.
Yes.
He would have been playing in leagues around the world, yeah.
Mhm.
So on flat tracks, they will get hammered.
But the
It
spin,
depends
right?
what the track looks like, yeah.
South Africa
I'm
doesn't
just
have the
looking at
spin.
like to
They
like
only have
batsmen
one
who can
bowler,
actually.
literally Maharaj, who does all the spin for them, and then
Yeah,
the
but the
Markham
thing
is a
is,
part-time bowler.
eh,
But when you look at New Zealand, they have three spinners.
but the thing is, you don't need spinners in. I'm talking about Lahore, right?
Mhm.
So the match is in
Still, the
Lahore, not in
slope is
Dubai. So
yeah.
no. So if you see the last game, they chased that in some 20, 17, 18 overs, whatever, right? 129. So what
Mhm.
I'm saying, I'm looking at like batsmen on a road. Yeah.
Mhm.
If Lahore they give a road, then I have a
Yes,
feeling
it's
that
pretty much is okay. So maybe yeah.
the batting and bowling
Mhm.
attack are much better on the South African side. Apart fielding, because South Africans are
Yeah,
really good
but
fielders as well.
even
So
from New Zealand standpoint, right? Unfortunately, Devon Conway hasn't really contributed as much as he should have been. If he comes to the party, Williamson scored some runs in the previous game. Rachin Ravindra is well suited for these conditions. And then they have Darren Mitchell back in this playing 11, who is phenomenal in the middle order against medium pace and slow bowling. Uh, and then obviously Phillips is like a Maxwell style, right? Touch and go, like in one day. And they also have Tom Latham, who actually opens in the test. So I think they have equally good batting, in my opinion. New Zealand, the top six at
and
least.
frankly speaking, the
Yeah.
best four teams have gone to the finals, like semi-finals, right?
Yes.
And like, if it's a road, then South Africa, are going to chase New Zealand out.
Yeah.
And if
I
it's
don't
like
know. South
seaming
Africa in the
and
final again for India. I'm like a
it'll be
little bit
fun.
skeptical. It'll be skeptical.
Because
I'm
if they
skeptical
come
because
to this thing, the India definitely
Larsens
is
and
going to win the finals.
Markrams. Yeah.
If South Africa comes to the finals, right,
Mhm.
then India has a 60-40 chance to win against South Africa. South Africans are not good against spin bowling. Yeah, apart from Klassen, maybe one guy. I
Yes.
don't see anybody else can bat against them. But if you see New Zealand, you have Williamson, you have Michelle, then you have what's his name, the other guy, Rachin Ravindra, right? At least three
Yeah.
of them who can actually play spin, right? As good as the Indians.
Yeah.
So I would love to see South Africa coming to the finals in Dubai on a spinning track. You will see like 60-40 to India.
Yeah.
With New Zealand, it'll be
I mean,
50-50.
at this stage, whoever it is, whoever plays the best, obviously, I'm not being political, but has to
Yeah,
fairness and
that's
pressure.
like it is just like a
Yes.
strategically. I'm asking you the questions.
Yeah.
Who do you think? And based on like, so it'll be fun tomorrow. Let's see if it's a road or if they give some like a seaming track or something. So
Absolutely. So
We should
before,
expect some
wrap up,
brilliant Glenn Phillips flying catches.
yes,
and
looking
like
That's
forward to
what
it.
we want.
where was that 350 odd run chased? Was it in Lahore?
I think that was in Lahore where Pakistan chased right in the final. I mean the same.
No. Just in this Champions Trophy, right? Against
Oh, the game
England.
between England and the thing. I think it was Rawalpindi
Australia.
or Australia
Where was
England
that?
game. I can't remember now.
Australia
Let me
chased, right?
pull it up. Yes, Champions
Let's have a look
Trophy.
quickly. England, Australia, right? Okay, that was in Lahore. So it's a flat track,
The
yeah.
same flat track. Yes, it is right here.
So
Yeah,
it'll be
that's why
fun.
I think that
Let's have some fireworks
both
tomorrow.
both batting lineups will get some runs.
We'll have to get
Is
some
Yeah,
the
runs.
absolutely.
fielding that's
Yeah.
gonna make a difference? That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be
it'll be
interesting to
fun
see
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Let's have a look.
At least minimum 320 will be a par score. Just
Yeah.
par. It's not like winning score.
Yeah.
325. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's see how the second final, semi-final unfolds tomorrow. But for our viewers, as we always say, it's just our opinions. We like to share. Obviously, any feedback is always welcome. hope you enjoy our coverage today, and we look forward to the semi-final and obviously the final. More to come from the Wrong Ones podcast. Good night, lads.
See you.
Bye.